In this moment, as your body settles into the softness of rest, there exists a frequency that has been calling to you not from outside yourself, but from the deepest layers of your being. It's the frequency that money recognizes, not as desperation, reaching outward, but as natural magnetism drawing inward. Tonight, as your nervous system begins its gentle descent into peace, you're invited to explore this quantum field where abundance already exists, shimmering like starlight in the infinite space of possibility. Your breath moves in and out, carrying with it the rhythms of the universe itself. Each exhale releases the tension of trying too hard. Each inhale invites the remembrance of who you truly are. In the space between these breaths, between the thoughts that drift like clouds across the sky of your awareness, there exists a frequency that needs no effort to maintain and only recognition, only gentle acknowledgement of what has always been. Yours feel your heart beating in your chest, this steady drum that has never stopped believing in your worthiness. Your heart doesn't know the stories your mind has learned about money, about scarcity, about having to prove your value. Your heart simply beats with the rhythm of life itself, and in that rhythm is encoded the frequency of abundance, not as something you must earn or chase, but as something you naturally embody when you remember your true nature. The quantum field that surrounds you, that permeates every cell of your being, is alive with infinite potential. It's like an ocean of possibility, and you are both the observer and the observed, the one who chooses which waves to collapse into reality. Your observer effect is not a force you must wield, but a natural capacity you possess simply by being aware, simply by existing in this moment of profound presence. As you lie here, feeling the weight of your body supported by the earth beneath, you notice how your energy field extends beyond the boundaries of your skin. This invisible field, this electromagnetic signature of your being, is constantly communicating with the quantum field around you. It's broadcasting the frequency of your deepest beliefs, your most intimate sense of self, your nervous system's assessment of safety and possibility. When you chase money from a place of desperation, your energy field contracts. It broadcasts the frequency of lack, of not enough, of fear. But when you remember that abundance is your natural state, when you allow your nervous system to settle into the truth of your inherent worthiness, your energy field expands. It becomes magnetic in the most natural way, drawing to you what already belongs to you. This isn't about positive thinking or forcing yourself to believe something that doesn't feel true. This is about recognizing the frequency that has always been yours, the energetic signature you carried before the world taught. You too doubt your worth. It's the frequency of a child who believes in magic, who expects good things to happen, who hasn't yet learned that abundance is scarce or that worthiness must be earned. Feel into your body now, into the spaces between your muscles, between your bones, between your thoughts. In these spaces lives the memory of your original frequency, pure, clear, magnetic. Your nervous system remembers this frequency even when your mind has forgotten it. Your cells remember it even when your conditioning has covered it over with layers of fear and doubt. The quantum field is not separate from you. It is you. You are not trying to manipulate some external force to bring you abundance. You are learning to align with the abundance that you already are, to tune in to the frequency that money recognizes as its natural match. When you embody this frequency, opportunities don't feel like lucky breaks, they feel like natural extensions of who you are. Breathe deeper now, and with each breath, feel yourself sinking into the truth of your being. You are not broken or lacking, you are not behind or late. You are not too much or not enough. You are a perfect expression of the universe's infinite creativity, and the universe never creates anything without also providing for its well-being. Your nervous system is designed to guide you toward what supports your highest good. When it feels safe, when it trusts that you are worthy of receiving, it naturally broadcasts the frequency of abundance. This frequency isn't loud or demanding. It's subtle, like the whisper of wind through leaves, like the gentle pull of the moon on the tides. It's the frequency of knowing, of quiet confidence, of deep trust in the benevolence of existence. As your body relaxes more deeply, imagine this frequency as a soft golden light that emanates from your heart, spreading through your entire being. This light carries the signature of your true nature: abundant, worthy, magnetic. It extends beyond your physical form, creating a field of possibility around you that the universe recognizes and responds to. This is not about becoming someone different. This is about remembering who you've always been beneath the layers of conditioning, beneath the stories of struggle and scarcity. The frequency you've been searching for has never been lost. It has simply been waiting for your nervous system to feel safe enough to broadcast it clearly, consistently, naturally. In the quantum field of infinite possibility, your observer effect is always active. You are always choosing which potential realities to collapse into your experience. When you observe yourself as abundant, when you feel into the frequency of worthiness, when you allow your nervous system to rest in the truth of your inherent value, you are actively participating in the creation of your reality. The money you desire isn't separate from you, waiting somewhere out there to be captured or earned. It exists in the quantum field of possibility, waiting for your frequency to call it forth. When you embody the frequency of abundance, not as performance or pretense, but as natural expression of your true nature, you become magnetic to the financial flow that supports your highest good. Tonight, as you drift toward sleep, your subconscious mind continues to attune to this frequency. Your nervous system continues to remember what it feels like to be worthy, to be abundant, to be naturally magnetic. And in the morning, you will wake with cells that remember this frequency, with a biofield that broadcasts worthiness, with a quiet confidence that abundance is not something you chase, but something you naturally embody. What would it feel like to trust that the frequency you've been searching for has always been yours, waiting patiently for your nervous system to remember its natural state of abundance? Your body remembers everything. Every conversation about money that happened around the dinner table when you were 7. Every time someone said we can't afford that with a particular tension in their voice. Every moment you felt small when others seemed to have what you wanted. Your nervous system catalogued these experiences, not as memories, but as cellular blueprints for how reality should feel right now. As you settle into this moment, your cells are humming with inherited stories. Some of these stories whisper of abundance, of deserving, of infinite possibility. Others vibrate with the frequency of not enough, of needing to prove yourself, of scarcity being the natural order of things. Your biofield, that invisible electromagnetic signature that extends beyond your physical body, carries these patterns, like radio waves broadcasting to the universe. You don't need to understand the science of this to feel its truth. You've experienced it when you walk into a room and immediately sense someone's energy before they speak. You've felt it when your mood shifts around certain people, or when you inexplicably know something is about to change. This is your biofield, in conversation with the quantum field, creating a quantum entanglement between your internal patterns and external reality. But here's what most people don't realize. Your energy speaks before you do. before you consciously choose your thoughts. Before you decide how to feel, your nervous system is already broadcasting its deepest programming to the field around you. This broadcast happens at the speed of light, encoded in the electromagnetic patterns your heart generates, the subtle vibrations your cells emit, the way your presence itself carries information. Your heart, this magnificent organ that beats, without your conscious control, generates an electromagnetic field 60 times stronger than your brain. This field extends 3 to 8 feet beyond your physical body, creating an invisible sphere of influence that touches everyone and everything around you. When your heart holds patterns of financial fear, when it carries the cellular memory of lack, this field becomes a transmission of scarcity consciousness. Imagine your biofield as a garden. Some areas bloom with frequencies of worthiness and abundance. These are the places where healing has occurred, where love has been integrated, where your natural state of deserving has been restored. Other areas might still hold the seeds of old stories, inherited beliefs about struggle and limitation that were planted long before you had the awareness to choose differently. Your nervous system, this intricate network that processes millions of bits of information every second, doesn't distinguish between past and present when it comes to emotional patterns. A cellular memory of your grandmother's anxiety about money can activate the same stress response as a current financial challenge. Your body responds to inherited trauma as if it's happening now, creating a chronic state of survival mode that broadcasts lack to the quantum field. This is why you might consciously want abundance while unconsciously pushing it away. Your mind says yes to prosperity while your system says no, creating a mixed signal that confuses the field's response. It's like trying to tune into a radio station while broadcasting static. The signal gets distorted, the message unclear. But in this moment, as you breathe deeper into awareness, you can begin to feel the difference between conscious intention and unconscious programming. Notice how your body responds when you think about money. Does your chest tighten? Do your shoulders rise? Does your breathing become shallow? These are the physical signatures of cellular memory, the ways your body holds stories that may not even be yours. Your biofield is not fixed. It's a dynamic, ever-changing energy system that responds to your awareness, your breath, your intention. When you bring conscious attention to these unconscious patterns, you create space for new frequencies to emerge. This is where the effect becomes profound. Your awareness itself begins to shift the quantum patterns your body broadcasts. Feel your breath moving through your chest, expanding your ribs, creating space around your heart. With each inhale, imagine drawing in frequencies of worthiness, of natural abundance, of belonging in prosperity. With each exhale, allow the cellular memories of lack to soften, to release, to dissolve back into the field for transformation. Your cells are always listening to your internal dialogue. When you speak to yourself with kindness, when you acknowledge your inherent worth, when you recognize abundance as your birthright rather than something you must earn, your biofield begins to attune to different frequencies. The electromagnetic signature you broadcast starts to shift, creating new patterns of resonance with the quantum field. This isn't about forcing positive thoughts or pretending financial stress doesn't exist. It's about developing the nervous system capacity to hold both the current reality and the emerging possibility. Your body needs to feel safe with abundance before it can truly receive it. This safety comes from healing the cellular memories that associate worthiness with struggle, that confuse suffering with spiritual growth. Your biofield extends beyond your individual experience. It connects you to the collective field of human consciousness, to the ancestral patterns that flow through your lineage, to the quantum web that links all living systems. When you heal your own relationship with abundance, you don't just change your personal reality, you contribute to the healing of the collective patterns around money and worth. Sometimes the most profound quantum shift happens not through doing, but through being, through allowing your nervous system to remember its natural state of regulation, its inherent capacity for joy, its cellular knowing of abundance as the universe's default setting. Your body wants to feel good. Your cells want to vibrate with life force. Your biofield wants to broadcast love and possibility as you rest deeper into this moment. Notice how your energy feels different when you're not trying to prove your worth, when you're not defending against scarcity, when you're simply allowing yourself to exist in the frequency of enough. This is your natural state, not something you must achieve, but something you can remember, something already encoded in your cellular wisdom. Your energy speaks before you do, and tonight it's learning to speak the language of abundance. It's remembering how to broadcast worthiness, how to emanate the frequency of someone who belongs in prosperity, who deserves love, who is inherently valuable simply by virtue of existing. What would it feel like to trust that your biofield is already perfect, already broadcasting exactly what you need to attract your highest good? What would it feel like to know that your energy, your presence, your very existence is a gift to the quantum field, a unique frequency that the universe has been waiting to receive? Your body speaks a language older than words, older than thought, older than the stories you tell yourself about who you are. Right now, as you settle into this moment, your nervous system is having a conversation with the quantum field around you, a dialogue conducted in electrical whispers and chemical symphonies that your conscious mind has never learned to translate. Feel your breath moving through you and notice how it carries more than oxygen. Each inhale draws in possibility. Each exhale releases what no longer serves. Your autonomic nervous system, that ancient guardian of your survival, doesn't understand the concept of money as pieces of paper or numbers in a bank account. It understands only the primal currencies of existence: safety and threat, expansion and contraction, connection and isolation. When you were small, your nervous system learned to read the world through the lens of survival. Every experience was coded into your cellular memory, not as thoughts or stories, but as felt sensations, as patterns of tension and release, as the fundamental vibration of safety or danger. These patterns became the invisible architecture of your reality, the quantum frequency from which all your experiences would emerge. Your nervous system carries the memory of every moment you felt unseen, every time love felt conditional, every instance when your authentic self was met with rejection or dismissal. These memories don't live in your mind, they live in your tissues, in the fascia that wraps your muscles, in the neural pathways that fire automatically before conscious thought can intervene. Notice how your body responds right now to the idea of receiving abundance. Does your chest tighten? Does your breathing become shallow? Does a familiar sensation of unworthiness rise in your throat? This is your nervous system speaking its secret language, broadcasting the frequency of old wounds, old protections, old beliefs about what you deserve. But here's what trauma specialists and quantum physicists are both discovering. Your nervous system exists in a state of constant communication with the field of infinite possibility. Every electrical impulse, every chemical cascade, every micro-expression of tension or ease sends ripples through the quantum fabric of reality. When your nervous system holds the frequency of trauma, it literally collapses wave functions of possibility into experiences that match that vibration, your vagus nerve. That wandering pathway of healing that connects your brain to your heart, your gut, your entire internal landscape, is both the keeper of your wounds and the gateway to your transformation. When this nerve is in a state of social engagement, when it feels safe to be seen and loved, it broadcasts a frequency that draws abundance like a magnet draws metal. But when it's protecting you from perceived threats, it sends out a signal that pushes away the very experiences you consciously desire. Feel into your chest now, that sacred space where your heart beats its eternal rhythm. Your heart generates the strongest electromagnetic field in your body, an energy signature that extends far beyond your physical form. This field carries the emotional imprint of every relationship, every moment of connection or disconnection, every decision made from love or fear. When your nervous system learned to associate love with pain, success with danger or visibility, with vulnerability, it began to generate a field that repels the very things you long for. Not because you're broken, not because you're unworthy, but because your system is doing exactly what it was designed to do: protect you from what it perceives as threats to your survival. Your nervous system doesn't distinguish between a safe tiger and the fear of being truly seen in your power. It doesn't differentiate between actual physical danger and the vulnerability required to receive love. To your ancient brain, visibility equals danger, success equals target, abundance equals the risk of loss. But tonight, in this liminal space, between wake and sleep, between conscious and unconscious, between the old story and the new possibility, your nervous system can begin to remember its original design. Before the wounds, before the protection, before the learned patterns of survival, your system was designed for connection, for expansion, for the easy flow of life force energy. Breathe into your belly now, that deep, slow breath that signals to your nervous system that all is well. Feel how this breath creates space in your ribcage, how it allows your heart to beat with less effort, how it sends a cascade of calming chemistry through your bloodstream. This is the breath of safety, the breath of coming home to yourself. Your nervous system's secret language is always broadcasting. Right now, as you lie here, every cell in your body is sending and receiving information, creating quantum events that ripple through the field of possibility. The question isn't whether you're creating, you're always creating. The question is, what frequency are you broadcasting? When your nervous system holds the memory of not being enough, it sends out a signal that attracts experiences confirming that belief. When it carries the imprint of abandonment, it creates a field that pushes away connection. When it's organized around the frequency of struggle, it collapses possibilities into experiences of difficulty and resistance. But your nervous system is not fixed. It's not a permanent record of your past. It's a living system, constantly updating, constantly reorganizing, constantly capable of new patterns. Through the gentle practice of presence, through the slow work of creating safety in your own body, you can begin to reprogram the very frequency of your existence. Feel your spine now, that column of intelligence that connects your brain to your body, your thoughts to your feelings, your conscious desires to your unconscious patterns. Your spine holds the memory of every time you had to collapse to survive, every moment you made yourself small to avoid rejection, every instance you dimmed your light to feel safe. And your spine also holds the possibility of expansion, of standing in your full power, of allowing your nervous system to relax into its natural state. of openness and flow. As you breathe into this possibility, notice how your body responds. Notice if there's resistance, if there's fear, if there's a familiar contraction that wants to pull you back into the old patterns. This resistance isn't your enemy. It's your nervous system's attempt to keep you safe. Thank it for its vigilance, for its constant protection, for the way it has carried you through every difficult moment of your life. Your nervous system has been your faithful guardian, even when its protection limited your expansion. Now, in this moment of deep rest, in this space of safety you've created, your nervous system can begin to update its programming. It can begin to learn that safety and expansion can coexist, that visibility and love can flow together, that abundance and worthiness are not threats to your survival, but expressions of your natural state. Your nervous system speaks the language of felt sense, of embodied experience, of the quantum field that responds to vibration rather than words. As you sink deeper into rest, as your breathing slows and your muscles soften, you create the optimal conditions for this ancient system to remember its original design. Feel how your body wants to expand in this moment, how your heart wants to open, how your energy wants to flow freely through your system. This is the frequency of your true nature, the vibration that existed before the wounds, before the protection, before the learned patterns of survival. Your nervous system's secret language is always speaking. Tonight, as you drift into sleep, let it whisper to you the truth of who you are beneath all the old stories, all the old fears, all the old protections. Let it remind you that you are safe to be seen, safe to receive, safe to expand into the fullness of your being. And as you surrender to rest, ask yourself gently, what would it feel like if your nervous system knew with absolute certainty that you are worthy of all the love and abundance you desire? In the quiet of this moment, as your breath deepens and your body settles into the embrace of rest, there's something profound happening within the very fabric of your being. Your cells are remembering not just your own memories, but the memories of all who came before you. Like an ancient library written in the language of DNA, your body holds the stories of your ancestors, their triumphs and their struggles, their fears and their dreams about survival, worthiness, and belonging. Feel your breath moving in and out, carrying with it the wisdom of countless generations. Each cell in your body carries forward the quantum information of those who loved you before you were born, who survived wars and famines, who worked their fingers to the bone, believing that struggle was the only path to security. Their love for you was so fierce that they encoded their protective strategies into your very DNA, whispering ancient warnings about money, about trusting abundance, about the dangers of wanting too much. These generational patterns live in your nervous system like inherited melodies, playing softly in the background of your consciousness. Your grandmother's fear of not having enough, your grandfather's belief that money is the root of all evil, your great-grandmother's shame about wanting more than she had. These stories have been passed down through generations like precious heirlooms, meant to keep you safe but sometimes keeping you small. As you breathe deeper now, imagine these inherited stories as quantum information, not fixed commandments carved in stone, but fluid patterns of energy that are responsive to your conscious intention. The beautiful truth is that these generational patterns are not your destiny. They are simply the starting point of your unique journey toward wholeness. Your ancestors did the best they could with the tools they had, the understanding they possessed, the circumstances they faced. Their survival strategies worked. They survived, they persevered, they ensured that you would be here in this moment. But the world they survived in is not the world you live in now. The scarcity they faced is not the scarcity you must perpetuate. The wounds they carried do not have to become your wounds. Feel into your body now, into the spaces between your thoughts, between your heartbeats. Notice how your nervous system has been programmed to expect struggle, to brace for disappointment, to prepare for the worst when it comes to money and abundance. These are not your responses. They are the echoes of your ancestors' responses. The quantum entanglement of their fear still vibrating through your cells. But here's the miracle that your ancestors could not have imagined. You have the power to heal not just your own relationship with abundance, but to heal the generational line itself. When you choose to embody a different frequency, when you allow your nervous system to remember its natural state of worthiness, you create a quantum shift that reverberates both forward and backward through time. Your cells are listening to you. In this moment, they are waiting for your permission to release the old stories, to let go of the inherited patterns that no longer serve you. As you breathe, imagine sending love and gratitude to all who came before you, honoring their struggles while gently releasing their limitations. Thank them for their sacrifices, for their survival, for their fierce love that brought you into existence. The frequency of money shifts when you stop carrying your ancestors' financial wounds as your own truth. When you recognize that their fear was born from their circumstances, not from some universal law about scarcity. When you understand that their struggle was their path, not your path. When you allow yourself to write a new quantum signature from the space of your own healing. This healing doesn't happen through force or denial. It happens through the gentle recognition that you are not bound by the stories written in your DNA. You are the author of your own quantum information, the creator of your own energetic signature. Every time you choose love over fear, expansion over contraction, trust over suspicion, you are rewriting the code at the cellular level. Feel your heart beating in your chest, this rhythm that connects you to all of life. Your heart doesn't carry the wounds of your ancestors, it carries their love, their hopes, their dreams for your freedom. Your heart knows that you were born to experience abundance, to live without the fear that haunted their sleepless nights, to trust in the benevolence of existence in ways they could not. As you sink deeper into this moment, imagine the stories your cells remember beginning to transform. The inherited belief that money is scarce softens into the recognition that abundance is natural. The ancestral fear of not having enough dissolves into the trust that you are always provided for. The generational pattern of struggle gives way to the possibility of ease. Your nervous system is learning a new song, one that your ancestors dreamed you would sing. It's the song of worthiness, of natural magnetism, of trusting that the universe is abundant and generous. As you breathe, feel this new frequency beginning to pulse through your cells, overwriting the old patterns with the truth of your inherent value. The quantum field responds to the frequency you broadcast, not the frequency you inherited. When you embody the frequency of abundance, not as rebellion against your ancestors, but as fulfillment of their deepest hopes for you, you become magnetic to the financial flow that supports your highest good. You become the answer to their prayers, the fulfillment of their dreams, the healing of their wounds. This is not about forgetting where you came from, or dishonoring the struggles of those who came before you. This is about completing their journey, healing their wounds, fulfilling their deepest longing for their children to be free. When you embody abundance, you are not betraying your ancestors. You are honoring their sacrifice by living the life they dreamed you could live. Your cells remember the stories of survival, but they also remember the stories of love, of hope, of the unwavering faith that somehow, some way, things would be better for you. In this moment, as your body relaxes into the support of rest, you are fulfilling that ancient faith. You are the abundance your ancestors believed in, the freedom they worked toward, the healing they couldn't access for themselves, the resistance you sometimes feel toward. Abundance is not your resistance, it's the echo of your ancestors' survival. Fear, the quantum information of their protective strategies still playing in your nervous system. But you can honor their protection while choosing your own path. You can be grateful for their sacrifice while embracing your own freedom as you drift towards sleep. Your subconscious mind continues to rewrite these ancient stories. Your cells continue to remember their original instruction for abundance, for worthiness, for natural magnetism, and in the morning you will wake with a nervous system that broadcasts your own frequency, not the frequency of inherited limitation. Tonight, as you rest in the space between one generation and the next, between the stories that were given to you and the stories you choose to live, feel the quantum field shimmering with possibility. Feel your ancestors' love supporting you as you write a new quantum signature, one that honors their journey while claiming your own freedom. What would it feel like to carry your ancestors' love forward while leaving their limitations behind? To honor their sacrifice by living the abundant life they dreamed you could live. In the stillness of this moment, as your body settles deeper into rest, there's a profound meeting taking place, the meeting between your deepest fears and your most cherished desires. In the space between heartbeats, between breaths, between thoughts, lies the quantum void where all possibilities exist simultaneously. Here, in this liminal space, your fear of lack and your desire for abundance dance together, creating a quantum frequency that ripples through the infinite field of potential. Feel your breath moving in and out, carrying with it the rhythm of your internal contradiction. One breath holds the fear that there will never be enough. The next breath carries the longing for abundance. One heartbeat pulses with the terror of want. The next beats with the hope of fulfillment. This is the beautiful, complex symphony of your human experience, the simultaneous existence of opposing truths that creates the very friction from which transformation is born. Your nervous system has been trying to resolve this paradox for years, perhaps decades. It sends signals of desire into the quantum field. Want abundance. I want financial freedom. I want security, while simultaneously broadcasting the frequency of fear. What if I don't deserve it? What if I lose it? What if wanting too much makes me selfish? These mixed signals create a quantum frequency that confuses the field, like trying to tune into two radio stations at once. As you breathe deeper now, imagine the quantum field as an ocean of pure potential, responding to every ripple of your consciousness. When you desire abundance from a place of wholeness, the field responds with clarity, aligning circumstances and opportunities with your intention. But when you desire abundance from a place of fear, from the desperate need to escape lack, the field receives conflicting information and responds with confusion. This is not your fault. This is not evidence of your inadequacy or your unworthiness. This is simply the natural result of living in a world that taught you to fear scarcity while simultaneously encouraging you to want more. You have been caught in the quantum superposition of wanting and fearing, of desiring and doubting, of reaching and withdrawing. Feel into your body now, into the places where this contradiction lives. Perhaps it sits in your chest as a tightness, a simultaneous expansion and contraction. Perhaps it lives in your belly as a churning, a constant state of nervous anticipation. Perhaps it manifests in your throat as words you want to speak but dare not, dreams you want to claim but feel afraid to voice. Tonight, as your nervous system softens into the safety of this moment, you're invited to explore what it feels like to want without needing, to desire without grasping. This is the art of quantum coherence, the ability to hold clear intention while remaining unattached to specific outcomes, to broadcast a consistent frequency while trusting the field to respond in its own perfect timing. Imagine your desire for abundance as a flower that blooms naturally, not because it needs to prove its worth, but because blooming is its nature. A flower doesn't fear that there won't be enough sunlight or water. It simply turns toward the light and drinks from the rain. It doesn't grasp for nutrients or compete desperately with other flowers. It simply opens to receive what the earth naturally provides. Your desire for abundance can be like this flower, natural, unforced, trusting. When you want abundance from this place of naturalness, your quantum frequency becomes clear and coherent. You broadcast the signal of someone who knows they are worthy of receiving, someone who trusts that the universe is abundant and generous, someone who can desire without desperation. But your fear tells a different story. Your fear whispers that wanting is dangerous, that desire makes you vulnerable, that the universe is stingy and withholding. Your fear creates a quantum frequency of contraction, of scarcity, of not enough. When this fear meets your desire in the quantum field, it creates interference patterns, like waves cancelling each other out. The beautiful truth is that you don't have to eliminate your fear to access abundance. You simply have to stop letting your fear drive the bus. You can acknowledge your fear with compassion while choosing to broadcast the frequency of your deeper truth, that you are worthy, that abundance is natural, that the universe is infinitely generous. Feel your heart beating in your chest, this steady rhythm that has never stopped believing in your worthiness. Your heart doesn't fear abundance, it welcomes it. Your heart doesn't grasp for more, it opens to receive. Your heart knows that you can desire from a place of wholeness, that you can want without needing, that you can reach for your dreams without desperation. As you sink deeper into this moment, imagine the quantum field responding to the frequency of your heart rather than the frequency of your fear. When you desire abundance from your heart, you create a coherent signal that the field can easily recognize and respond to. You become like a tuning fork, vibrating at the frequency of worthiness, sending clear waves of intention into the ocean of possibility. This is the quantum shift that changes everything, not the elimination of fear, but the choice to lead with love, not the absence of doubt, but the decision to trust despite uncertainty, not the perfection of your frequency, but the consistency of your intention to align with abundance rather than scarcity. Your nervous system is learning to hold both the reality of your fear and the possibility of your dreams without letting one cancel out the other. This is emotional coherence, the ability to feel your feelings without being controlled by them, to acknowledge your fears without being limited by them, to desire deeply without becoming desperate. The quantum field is infinitely patient, infinitely responsive, infinitely generous. It doesn't judge your mixed signals or punish your confusion. It simply responds to whatever frequency you broadcast most consistently, most coherently, most authentically. When you choose to broadcast the frequency of abundance more often than the frequency of lack, the field begins to mirror that choice back to you. This is not about perfection or about never feeling fear. This is about recognizing that your fear and your desire can coexist without canceling each other out. You can feel afraid and still choose to act from faith. You can doubt your worthiness and still choose to receive abundance. You can want deeply and still trust the perfect timing of the universe as you breathe. Feel the quantum field shimmering around you, alive with infinite possibility. Feel your fear and your desire meeting in this space, not as enemies, but as different aspects of your complex, beautiful humanity. In this meeting, in this acceptance, in this integration, a new frequency is born, the frequency of someone who has learned to want without grasping, to desire without desperation, to trust without needing guarantees. Tonight, as you drift toward sleep, your subconscious mind continues to integrate these truths. Your nervous system continues to learn the difference between wanting from fear and wanting from love. And in the morning, you will wake with a clearer frequency, a more coherent signal, a deeper trust in your ability to desire abundance without losing yourself in the process. What would it feel like to want your dreams as naturally as a flower? Want sunlight not from desperation or fear, but from the simple joy of opening to receive what is already yours. There is a moment, quiet and profound, when your heart and mind stop their ancient argument, when the electromagnetic field of your heart synchronizes with the neural patterns of your brain, creating a resonance so pure that the quantum field itself pauses to listen. This is the alchemy of emotional coherence, not the forced harmony of positive thinking, but the deep integration that happens when your entire being remembers how to speak the same language. Your heart has been trying to tell you something for so long. Beneath the layers of conditioning, beneath the inherited stories about struggle and worth, your heart holds the original blueprint for prosperity. It remembers when abundance felt natural, when receiving was as easy as breathing, when your very existence was proof enough of your value. Tonight, as you surrender deeper into this moment, your heart is whispering these memories back to your conscious mind. The science is beautiful in its simplicity. Your heart generates more signals to your brain than your brain sends to your heart. This means your heart is constantly influencing your thoughts, your perceptions, your capacity to receive. When your heart holds patterns of coherent, steady, rhythmic, harmonious electromagnetic waves, creates a cascade of neurochemical changes that open you to possibility, to connection, to the frequency of abundance itself. But when your heart carries the turbulence of unresolved emotions, when it holds the irregular rhythms of fear and scarcity, it sends chaotic signals to your brain. Your mind tries to make sense of these signals, creating thoughts and beliefs that match the emotional static. This is why you can think positively about money while your heart broadcasts unworthiness. The mixed signal confuses the quantum mind, creating a reality that reflects the inner contradiction rather than the conscious desire. Feel your heart now, beating steadily in your chest. Each beat is generating an electromagnetic pulse that extends beyond your physical body, creating invisible waves that interact with the quantum field around you. When these waves are coherent, when your heart rhythm reflects emotional balance rather than internal conflict, they create a resonance that abundance recognizes as its natural match. Your heart doesn't need to be convinced of your worth. It doesn't need evidence or proof or logical arguments. Your heart knows abundance as your birthright, prosperity as your natural state, love as the fundamental frequency of existence. The challenge has never been convincing your heart of these truths. The challenge has been quieting the mental noise long enough to hear what your heart has been saying all along. This is where the alchemy begins, not in forcing your mind to think different thoughts, but in creating the internal conditions where your heart's wisdom can emerge. When you breathe consciously, when you allow your nervous system to settle, when you stop fighting the emotions that want to move through you, your heart begins to return to its natural state of coherence. Imagine your emotional field as a symphony, orchestra. For years, different sections have been playing different songs, your mind playing the melody of limitation, your heart holding the rhythm of possibility, your body expressing the discord of unresolved trauma. The music has been beautiful in places, chaotic in others, but never quite the masterpiece. You came here to create. Emotional coherence is what happens when all the instruments begin to play in harmony. Not because someone forced them to, but because they remembered they were always meant to create music together. Your thoughts, your feelings, your body's cellular memory, your electromagnetic field all synchronized in a frequency that the universe recognizes as pure creative potential. This synchronization doesn't happen through will or effort. It happens through allowing, through creating space for the natural intelligence of your heart to guide the conversation, through trusting that your body knows how to return to coherence when given the right conditions, through recognizing that abundance isn't something you must acquire, but something you can remember, something already encoded in your heart's electromagnetic signature. Your heart's electromagnetic field is 50 times stronger than your brain's. When your heart is in coherence, it literally entrains your brain waves, your hormonal systems, your cellular function. This isn't metaphor, this is measurable science. Your heart in coherence creates a cascade of physiological changes that optimize your body for receiving, for creating, for manifesting from a place of integrated wholeness. Feel the rhythm of your breath synchronizing with the rhythm of your heart. Notice how this simple awareness begins to create a settling, a coming home to yourself. This is the beginning of coherence, a destination you must reach, but a natural state you can return to again and again. Like remembering how to swim after years on dry land, your cells remember this frequency. Before fear taught them to contract, before scarcity convinced them to defend, your cells knew how to vibrate with the frequency of enough. They knew how to be open, receptive, naturally magnetic to all forms of abundance. This memory lives in your DNA, in the quantum field that connects every cell in your body, in the electromagnetic patterns that your heart generates with every beat. When your heart and mind align in coherence, you stop sending mixed signals to the quantum field. Instead of broadcasting the internal conflict between wanting and fearing, between deserving and doubting, you begin to emit a clear, consistent frequency that abundance can recognize and respond to. This is the observer effect in its most practical application. Your coherent attention literally influences the quantum events that become your reality. The alchemy happens in the space between heartbeats. In that quiet moment when your heart pauses before its next contraction, there is a doorway into pure potential. In that space, the quantum field reorganizes itself around your coherent frequency. New possibilities emerge. Different timelines become accessible. The reality shift you've been seeking happens not through force, but through the natural magnetism of a heart that has remembered its original song. Your electromagnetic field is always communicating with the world around you. When you're in coherence, this communication becomes clear, consistent, authentic. People feel safer around you. Opportunities align with less effort. Resources flow more naturally. Not because you're manipulating energy, but because you're finally broadcasting the frequency that matches your deepest truth. This is why abundance isn't about getting more. It's about removing the interference that blocks your natural magnetism. Your heart wants to give and receive freely. Your electromagnetic field wants to create and share and contribute. Your cells want to vibrate with life force and possibility. The only question is, what are you ready to allow? As you rest deeper into this moment, feel your heart settling into its natural rhythm. Notice how coherence feels different from the forced positivity you might have tried before. This isn't about making yourself feel good, it's about allowing yourself to feel whole, to feel integrated, to feel the profound peace that comes when your inner orchestra finally remembers how to play the same song. Your heart is teaching your mind a new language tonight. Not the language of lack and limitation, but the language of quantum coherence. The language that abundance speaks fluently. The language that your cells remember from before fear convinced them to forget. What would it feel like to trust this coherence completely? What would it feel like to know that your heart's electromagnetic field is already perfect, already broadcasting exactly what you need to attract your highest good? What would it feel like to surrender so completely to this natural rhythm that abundance has no choice but to recognize you as its perfect match? Your identity is not what you think it is. It's not the collection of stories you tell yourself, not the resume of your achievements, not the catalogue of your failures and triumphs. Your identity lives deeper than thought, deeper than memory, deeper than the conscious mind can reach. It exists as a living frequency in your nervous system, a complex symphony of electrical patterns, chemical signatures, and quantum resonances that broadcast who you are into the field of infinite possibility right now. As you settle into this moment of deep rest, your nervous system is humming with the frequency of who you believe yourself to be. Every cell in your body carries this signature, this energetic fingerprint that determines what you attract, what you repel, what you allow, and what you resist. Your relationship with abundance, with money, with receiving the fullness of life's offerings, of this is determined not by your conscious desires, but by the frequency your nervous system recognizes as you. Feel into your body now, into the subtle sensations that arise when you imagine yourself as someone who naturally receives abundance. Notice what happens in your chest, in your throat, in your belly. Does your breathing change? Does tension arise? Does a familiar voice whisper that this version of yourself is somehow pretending, somehow fake, somehow not the real you? This is the voice of your current identity frequency defending itself, protecting the familiar patterns that have kept you safe, but also kept you small. Your nervous system, in its infinite wisdom, has organized itself around a version of you that it believes can survive in this world. But survival and thriving operate on entirely different frequencies, and the transition from one to the other requires a gentle quantum shift in your very sense of self. Your brain, that magnificent organ of neuroplasticity, is constantly rewiring itself based on your experiences, your attention, your repeated patterns of thought and feeling. Every time you think I am not worthy, every time you feel I don't deserve this, every time you contract in the face of abundance, you strengthen the neural pathways that make these patterns feel true, feel real, feel like the essential you. But here's what neuroscience and quantum physics are revealing together. Your brain doesn't distinguish between imagined and actual experience when it comes to creating neural pathways. The same electrical patterns fire, the same chemical cascades flow, the same quantum events occur whether you're actually receiving abundance or simply embodying the frequency of someone who naturally receives. This is the secret of identity transformation, not forcing yourself to become someone else, but allowing yourself to remember who you were before you learned to be small, before you learned to doubt, before you learned that receiving love and abundance was somehow dangerous or wrong. Your nervous system holds the blueprint of every version of yourself that has ever existed and every version that could exist. The timid child who learned to hide, the adolescent who learned to perform, the adult who learned to struggle, all of these are frequencies stored in your cellular memory. But alongside these wounded patterns lives another frequency, an original frequency that existed before the wounds, before the protection, before the learned limitations. Feel into this original frequency now, this version of yourself that knew, without question, that you belonged, that you were worthy, that abundance was your natural state. This isn't a fantasy or a pretense, this is the quantum frequency of your essential self. The self that existed before the world taught you to doubt your inherent worth. Your nervous system, when it feels truly safe, when it's not defending against perceived threats, naturally organizes itself around this frequency of wholeness. In this state, receiving becomes as natural as breathing. Abundance flows as easily as blood through your veins, and the field of possibility arranges itself to match your internal resonance. But becoming this frequency isn't about forcing change or demanding transformation. It's abo. The gentle art of embodiment, the slow practice of inhabiting a version of yourself that feels both completely new and utterly familiar. It's about creating space for your nervous system to gradually reorganize around this new frequency, to slowly release the old patterns that no longer serve. Breathe into your heart now, that electromagnetic center that generates the strongest field in your body. Your heart doesn't just pump blood, it processes emotional information. It communicates with your brain through more neural pathways than your brain sends back. It generates a field that extends far beyond your physical form. When your heart holds the frequency of worthiness, when it beats with the rhythm of belonging, it broadcasts a signal that the quantum field cannot ignore. Your identity frequency is not fixed. It's not a permanent installation in your nervous system. It's a living pattern that can be updated, upgraded, transformed through the gentle practice of embodiment. Every time you breathe into the feeling of being worthy, every time you allow yourself to receive without contracting, every time you inhabit the frequency of abundance rather than struggle, you create new neural pathways, new chemical patterns, new quantum possibilities. This is the art of quantum manifestation. Not willing or forcing reality to change, but becoming the frequency that naturally attracts what you desire. When you embody the energy of someone who receives easily, who is supported by life, who trusts in the abundance of the universe, you don't have to chase opportunities or force outcomes. They arise naturally from the field of possibility that surrounds you. Notice how your body responds to this possibility. Notice if there's resistance, if there's fear, if there's a familiar voice that says this is too good to be true, or people like me don't get to have this. This is your current identity frequency protecting itself, trying to keep you safe in the familiar patterns of limitation. Thank this protective part of yourself for its vigilance, for its constant care, for the way it has kept you safe through every difficult moment of your life. Your nervous system has been organizing around limitation, not because it wants to punish you, but because it learned that staying small, expecting less, not reaching too high, was the safest way to navigate a world that often felt unsafe. But safety and expansion can coexist. Worthiness and visibility can flow together. Abundance and humility can dance in perfect harmony. Your nervous system can learn to organize around these new possibilities, to find safety in expansion rather than contraction, to find protection in authenticity rather than hiding. Feel into your spine now, that column of intelligence that connects your brain to your body, your thoughts to your feelings, your conscious desires to your unconscious patterns. Your spine holds the memory of every time you straightened with pride, every moment you stood in your power, every instance when you allowed yourself to be seen in your full magnificence. And your spine also holds the possibility of standing in this frequency permanently, of inhabiting the posture of someone who knows their worth, who expects good things, who receives abundance as their natural birthright. As you breathe into this possibility, notice how your body wants to arrange itself, how your shoulders want to settle, how your heart wants to open. This is the frequency you seek, not outside of yourself, but within the very structure of your being. You are not becoming someone else. You are becoming who you have always been, beneath the layers of protection, beneath the learned limitations, beneath the false identities that kept you safe but also kept you small. Your nervous system is designed for this frequency. Your cells are programmed for this abundance. Your energy field is calibrated for this level of receiving. The only thing that has been blocking this natural flow is the identity frequency that learned to organize around lack, around limitation, around the belief that you had to earn your worth rather than simply embody it. As you sink deeper into rest, as your breathing slows and your muscles soften, allow your nervous system to begin this gentle reorganization. Allow it to release the old patterns that no longer serve, to update the identity frequency that has been running in the background of your life, to remember the original blueprint of who you are. You are not trying to become worthy, you are remembering that you already are. You are not trying to deserve abundance. You are recognizing that it's your natural state. You are not trying to be someone else. You are becoming who you've always been, beneath all the learned limitations and false identities. Your nervous system speaks the language of frequency, of resonance, of quantum vibration. As you drift into sleep, let it whisper to you the truth of your original nature, the frequency that existed before the wounds, before the protection, before the learned patterns of survival. And as you surrender to rest, feel into this question: what would it be like to wake up tomorrow already embodying the frequency of the person you're becoming? In the gentle embrace of this moment, as your body settles deeper into the cocoon of rest, there's something magnificent happening that extends far beyond the boundaries of your skin. Your biofield, this invisible electromagnetic signature of your being, extends 3 to 5 feet beyond your physical form, carrying the essence of who you believe yourself to be into the quantum field around you. Tonight, as your nervous system settles into safety, you're invited to feel this invisible field expanding, softening, becoming receptive to the prosperity that seeks you. Imagine your body as a soft, glowing star, radiating energy in all directions. This energy field is not mystical or imaginary, as real as your heartbeat, as measurable as your brainwaves, as tangible as the electromagnetic current that flows through your nervous system. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, every belief you hold about yourself creates ripples in this field, broadcasting your internal truth to the universe around you. Feel your breath moving in and out, and with each breath, imagine this field of energy pulsing gently around you. When you operate from worthiness, when you truly believe in your inherent value, this field becomes magnetic in the most natural way. It draws to you opportunities that feel like perfect timing, connections that feel like destiny, quantum events that feel like the universe conspiring in your favor. But when you operate from desperation, when you believe you must prove your worth or fight for your place, this field contracts. It becomes dense, urgent, repelling the very things you're trying so hard to attract. The universe doesn't respond to desperation, it responds to the quiet confidence of worthiness, the gentle magnetism of someone who knows they belong in the flow of abundance. Your nervous system is the conductor of this electromagnetic symphony. When it feels safe, when it trusts that you are worthy of receiving, it allows your biofield to expand in all directions, creating space for prosperity to enter your experience. When it feels threatened, when it believes you must fight for survival, it contracts this field, creating energetic barriers that keep abundance at arm's length. Tonight, as you breathe deeper into this moment, feel your nervous system beginning to release the old patterns of contraction. Feel it remembering its natural state of expansion, of openness, of trust. As it settles into safety, your biofield begins to soften, becoming more receptive, more magnetic, more aligned with the frequency of abundance. Imagine this energy field as a gentle tide, ebbing and flowing with the rhythm of your breath. When you inhale, it expands, reaching out to touch the quantum field with the signature of your worthiness. When you exhale, it draws back, pulling toward you the opportunities and connections that recognize your value. This is not about pushing or pulling, it's about the natural magnetism that occurs when you embody your true worth. Your biofield carries the electromagnetic signature of your deepest beliefs about yourself. If you believe you are worthy of abundance, this field broadcasts that worthiness in waves of coherent energy. If you believe you must struggle for every penny, this field broadcasts that struggle, creating resistance in the quantum field around you. The universe doesn't judge these beliefs. It simply responds to the frequency you're broadcasting. Feel into your body now, into the space around your heart. This is the center of your biofield, the place where your electromagnetic signature is strongest. When your heart feels safe to remain open, when it trusts that you are worthy of love and abundance, it creates a coherent field that extends far beyond your physical form. This coherent field is magnetic to experiences that match its frequency. The beauty of worthiness is that it's not something you must earn or prove, it's something you can simply choose to embody. In this moment, as your body relaxes into rest, you can choose to let your biofield expand with the truth of your inherent value. You can choose to broadcast the frequency of someone who knows they belong in the flow of abundance. This is not about pretending or performing worthiness. This is about recognizing the worthiness that has always been yours, that was never dependent on your achievements or your bank account or your productivity. Your worthiness is woven into the fabric of your being, as natural as your heartbeat, as constant as your breath. As you breathe, imagine your biofield as a gentle aurora, shimmering with the colors of your authentic self. This field carries the essence of who you are when you're not trying to be anyone else, when you're not apologizing for your existence, you're not shrinking to make others comfortable. It carries the frequency of your natural magnetism, your innate ability to attract what supports your highest good. Your nervous system is learning to maintain this expanded state, to hold this frequency of worthiness even when the world around you suggests otherwise. It's learning that safety doesn't come from making yourself small or invisible, it comes from expanding into your full presence, from taking up the energetic space you were born to occupy. Feel your biofield expanding now, reaching beyond the walls of the room, beyond the boundaries of your immediate environment. Feel it touching the quantum field with the signature of your worthiness, sending gentle waves of magnetic energy into the ocean of possibility. This field is not demanding or desperate, it's simply present, simply available, simply open to, receiving what flows naturally toward it. When you embody worthiness, your biofield becomes a beacon for abundance. It draws to you people who recognize your value, opportunities that feel aligned with your purpose, quantum events that feel like perfect synchronicity. This is not about manipulation or control. It's about the natural law of attraction that occurs when you vibrate at the frequency of your true worth. Your biofield is always communicating, always broadcasting, always drawing experiences that match its frequency. When you operate from worthiness, you attract worthiness. When you operate from desperation, you attract more situations that require desperation. The field around you is a mirror, reflecting back the frequency you're broadcasting most consistently. Tonight, as you settle into the deepest layers of rest, feel your biofield naturally expanding, naturally softening, naturally becoming more receptive to prosperity. Feel it releasing the old patterns of contraction, the old beliefs about having to prove your worth, the old electromagnetic signatures of struggle and striving. Your nervous system is remembering its natural state of expansion, its inherent capacity to hold space for abundance without fear or anxiety. As it settles into this state of safety, your biofield becomes a powerful magnet for prosperity, drawing to you the financial flow that supports your highest good. This is the quantum frequency of worthiness, not loud or demanding, but steady and certain. It's the frequency of someone who knows they belong in the flow of abundance, who trusts that the universe is generous and responsive, who can receive prosperity without guilt or fear. As you drift towards sleep, your biofield continues to expand, continues to soften, continues to broadcast the electromagnetic signature of your inherent worth. And in the morning, you will wake with a field that naturally magnetizes abundance, that draws to you opportunities and connections that feel like perfect alignment with your deepest truth. What would it feel like to move through the world knowing that your very presence is magnetic, that your biofield naturally draws to you the abundance that recognizes your worth? There is a rhythm in the quantum field that your body remembers, even when your mind has forgotten. It's the rhythm of expansion and contraction, of receiving and releasing, of dancing with possibility rather than grasping for outcomes. Tonight, as your breath settles into its natural flow, you're remembering how to move through life with the graceful confidence of someone who trusts the invisible choreography of abundance. Your nervous system knows this dance intimately when it's relaxed, when it's not braced against perceived threat, when it's flowing in its natural state of curiosity and openness. It becomes a perfect partner for the quantum field. This is the quantum flow state, not a destination you reach through effort, but a natural way of being that emerges when you stop trying to control the music and start listening to its rhythm. Feel your body now releasing deeper into rest. Notice how different this feels from the tension of chasing, from the exhaustion of forcing, from the anxiety of trying to make things happen. In this relaxed state, your biofield naturally attunes to the frequencies of synchronicity. You become magnetic to the experiences, people, and opportunities that match your authentic frequency, rather than your desperate wanting. The quantum field is always dancing, particles appearing and disappearing, waves of possibility collapsing into specific realities, energy organizing itself into matter, then dissolving back into pure potential. This isn't chaos, it's the most elegant choreography imaginable, and you're not separate from it. You're part of the dance. Your consciousness helping to shape the very movements you experience. When you're in flow state, time changes, space changes. The usual rules of cause and effect become more fluid. You've experienced this before, those moments when everything clicked, when opportunities appeared effortlessly, when you felt carried by an invisible current toward exactly what you needed. This wasn't luck or coincidence. This was you dancing with quantum possibility. Your relaxed nervous system creating the perfect conditions for synchronicity to unfold. Your breath is the bridge between your conscious mind and the quantum field. Each inhale draws in pure possibility. Each exhale releases the need to control how that possibility manifests. This isn't passive, waiting, it's active participation in a dance that's already happening. Your awareness, your presence, your willingness to move with the rhythm rather than against it. These are your contributions to the choreography. Imagine abundance as a dance partner who's been waiting for you to stop stepping on their feet. For years, you might have been leading with your mind, trying to force the steps, worried about making mistakes. But abundance wants to lead sometimes. It wants to surprise you with moves you never imagined, to spin you in directions that reveal new landscapes of possibility. When you trust the dance, when you allow your nervous system to relax into the rhythm, you discover that abundance has its own intelligence. It knows the perfect timing. It understands the intricate connections between seemingly unrelated events. It can orchestrate synchronicities that your conscious mind could never plan or predict. This is where the observer effect becomes playful rather than effortful. Your relaxed attention doesn't force quantum possibilities to collapse into specific outcomes. Instead, it creates a field of loving awareness that allows the most beneficial possibilities to emerge naturally. You become a conscious participant in the dance of creation, influencing the quantum field through your presence rather than your pushing. Your body remembers how to be in flow. It remembers how to move through life with the fluid grace of water, finding its way downhill, always seeking the path of least resistance, yet somehow reaching exactly where it needs to go. This isn't about being passive, it's about being responsive, about feeling the subtle currents of possibility and learning to navigate them with increasing skill and trust. The quantum field responds to your emotional signature more than your mental demands. When you're in flow state, your emotional field becomes coherent, harmonious, naturally magnetic to experiences that match your authentic frequency. You stop broadcasting the static of anxiety and start emanating the clear signal of someone who knows they belong in the dance of abundance. Feel the rhythm of your heartbeat, synchronizing with the rhythm of your breath. Notice how this simple awareness creates a settling, a remembering of your natural capacity to be in flow. This is your access point to the quantum dance, not through complex techniques or forced practices, but through the simple act of returning to your body's innate wisdom. In flow state, your intuition becomes sharper. You feel the subtle pulls and pushes of the quantum field. You sense which opportunities are aligned and which are distractions. You develop what dancers call proprioception, the ability to feel your position in space, to know exactly where you are in the choreography of your life. Your cells remember this state. Before fear taught them to contract, before scarcity convinced them to grab and hold, your cells knew how to be in flow. They knew how to receive and release, how to participate in the constant exchange of energy that sustains all life. This memory lives in your DNA, in the quantum field that connects every cell in your body, in the electromagnetic patterns that dance between your heart and brain. When you're dancing with quantum possibility, you stop trying to be somewhere else. You stop rushing toward the future or defending against the past. You become fully present to the current moment, which is the only place where quantum events actually occur. This presence isn't empty, it's full of potential, pregnant with possibility, alive with the creative intelligence of the universe. The dance of abundance isn't about getting what you want, it's about wanting what's already dancing toward you. It's about developing the sensitivity to feel the quantum currents that are always flowing, always offering new possibilities, always inviting you to participate in the grand choreography of creation. Sometimes the dance asks you to move forward with bold confidence. Sometimes it asks you to pause and allow space for new information to emerge. Sometimes it asks you to change direction entirely, to follow a path that your mind never considered but your heart recognizes as perfect. In flow state, you trust these invitations because you know they're coming from the same intelligence that orchestrates the movement of galaxies. Your nervous system is learning to recognize the difference between the anxiety of forcing and the excitement of flow. Anxiety creates static in your biofield, interference that blocks the subtle sea. Signals of synchronicity, but excitement, authentic enthusiasm, creates coherence that amplifies your natural magnetism to beneficial experiences that as you rest deeper into this moment, feel yourself settling into the rhythm of the quantum dance. Notice how your body naturally wants to move with this rhythm rather than against it. This isn't about becoming someone different, it's about remembering who you've always been beneath. The layers of conditioning that taught you to fight the music. The quantum field is always offering you its next invitation, always presenting new possibilities, always creating opportunities for you to dance with abundance in ways that serve your highest good. Your relaxed nervous system is the perfect receiver for these invitations, your open heart the perfect partner for this eternal dance. What would it feel like to trust the choreography completely? What would it feel like to know that every step you take is part of a larger dance? That every movement you make is contributing to the creation of abundance, not just for yourself, but for everyone whose life you touch? What would it feel like to surrender so completely to the quantum flow that abundance has no choice but to dance with you forever? Your body has forgotten how to receive, not because it's broken, not because it's damaged, but because receiving is a skill that must be practiced, a nervous system capacity that develops through repetition and gentle training. Right now, as you settle into this moment, your cells are either opening to receive this breath, this comfort, this sense of safety, or they're subtly contracting, pushing away even the simple abundance of this present moment. Feel into your chest. Now, that sacred space where your heart beats its eternal rhythm. Notice what happens when you imagine receiving something beautiful: money, recognition, support. Does your chest expand with welcoming, or does it tighten with familiar tension? Does your breathing deepen with allowance, or does it become shallow with resistance? This is the rhythm of receiving speaking through your body, revealing the patterns that have been shaped by years of learning when it was safe to open and when it was necessary to close. Your nervous system, in its infinite wisdom, has organized itself around the experiences that taught you about receiving every gift that came with strings attached, every love that was conditional, every moment when opening led to disappointment or pain. But receiving is not a fixed capacity. It's not a permanent limitation carved into your cellular memory. It's a living skill that can be developed, expanded, refined through the gentle practice of staying open in the face of abundance. Your nervous system has the remarkable ability to learn new patterns, to create new neural pathways, to reorganize itself around new possibilities. Your cells are constantly practicing receiving. Right now, they're receiving oxygen from your breath, nutrients from your blood, electrical signals from your nervous system. They don't question whether they deserve these gifts. They simply open and allow the flow of life to move through them. This is the natural state of receiving, the organic rhythm that exists before the mind creates stories about worthiness or deservingness. But somewhere along the way, your nervous system learned to associate receiving with danger. Perhaps receiving love meant losing yourself. Perhaps receiving gifts meant owing something in return. Perhaps receiving attention meant becoming a target. These lessons, encoded in your cellular memory, created patterns of contraction that now activate automatically. Whenever abundance appears, feel into your belly now, that deep center of instinct and intuition. Your belly holds the memory of every time you had to protect yourself from receiving. Every moment when opening felt unsafe. Every experience when accepting abundance led to consequences you couldn't handle. But your belly also holds the possibility of a different kind of receiving, one that comes from a place of strength rather than vulnerability. One that knows how to receive without losing itself. Receiving is not passive. It's not about becoming weak or dependent or somehow diminished. True receiving is an active practice of staying open and expanded while maintaining your boundaries. Your sense of self, your capacity to choose what you allow into your system. It's the art of creating space for abundance while remaining rooted. In your own power, your nervous system learns through repetition, through gentle practice, through the slow accumulation of new experiences that create new neural pathways. Tonight, as you practice receiving this moment, this breath, this sense of safety, you're literally training your cells to recognize abundance as natural rather than foreign. Notice how your body wants to receive this breath, not grabbing for it, not forcing it, but simply allowing your lungs to expand, your ribcage to open, your entire system to welcome the gift of oxygen. This is the rhythm of receiving, not demanding or grasping, but creating space and allowing the natural flow of life to move through you. Your heart knows this rhythm intimately. It receives blood from your entire body, welcomes it into its chambers, and then sends it out again, enriched and renewed. Your heart doesn't question whether it deserves this blood, doesn't wonder if it's worthy of this circulation. It simply opens and allows, receives and gives, in the eternal rhythm that keeps you alive. This is the frequency your nervous system can learn to embody, the easy, natural rhythm of receiving that doesn't require effort or struggle, that doesn't demand worthiness or deservingness, that simply recognizes abundance as the natural state of life. When your nervous system organizes around this frequency, it creates a quantum shift in your relationship with receiving. Feel into your spine now, that column of intelligence that connects your brain to your body. Your spine holds the memory of every time you collapsed under the weight of receiving, every moment when abundance felt too much to handle, every experience when opening led to overwhelm. But your spine also holds the possibility of receiving from a place of strength, of staying upright and expanded even as abundance flows in. Your nervous system has been protecting you from receiving because it learned that receiving was dangerous. But protection and receiving can coexist. You can stay open to abundance while maintaining your boundaries. You can welcome gifts while keeping your sense of self. You can receive support while staying connected to your own power. This is the art of receptive capacity, not just opening to receive, but developing the nervous system stability to stay open even when abundance flows in. It's the practice of training your cells to recognize that receiving doesn't diminish you, doesn't make you weak, doesn't put you in danger. Instead, it enriches you, strengthens you, connects you to the natural flow of life. Your body is designed for receiving. Every cell membrane is designed to let in what nourishes and keep out what harms. Every organ system is designed to receive, process, and distribute the gifts of life throughout your being. Your nervous system is designed to receive information, experiences, sensations, and to integrate them into your expanding sense of self. But receiving has been complicated by the stories your mind tells, the fears your nervous system holds, the patterns that were created in moments when receiving felt unsafe. These patterns can be updated, upgraded, transformed through the gentle practice of staying open in small, safe ways. Right now, practice receiving this moment. Not trying to change it, not trying to improve it, not trying to make it different, but simply allowing it to be here, allowing yourself to be held by this present moment, allowing your nervous system to experience the safety of receiving without having to give anything in return. Notice any resistance that arises. Notice any contraction, any pulling away, any subtle closing that happens when you practice receiving. This is not your enemy. This is your nervous system's attempt to keep you safe based on old information, old experiences, old patterns that once protected you but now limit your capacity to receive. Thank this protective part of yourself for its vigilance, for its constant care, for the way it has kept you safe through every difficult moment of your life. Your nervous system has been limiting your receiving not because it wants to punish you, but because it learned that staying closed, expecting less, not allowing too much in, was the safest way to navigate a world that often felt overwhelming. But your nervous system can learn new patterns. It can develop new capacities. It can train itself to stay open and expanded even in the face of abundance. This happens through practice, through repetition, through the gentle accumulation of experiences that teach your cells that receiving is safe. Feel into your hands now, those instruments of receiving and giving. Your hands know how to receive. They receive touch, warmth, texture, the weight of objects, the caress of wind. They don't question whether they deserve these sensations. They simply open and allow, receive and respond. This is the rhythm your entire being can learn to embody. The natural, effortless rhythm of receiving that flows like breath, like heartbeat, like the eternal circulation of life through your system. When your nervous system organizes around this rhythm, it creates a quantum frequency that invites more abundance, more support, more of everything you desire. Your capacity to receive is not fixed. It's not limited by your past experiences or your current circumstances. It's a living capacity that can be developed, expanded, refined through the gentle practice of staying open to the gifts that are always flowing toward you as you sink deep. Are into rest, as your breathing slows and your muscles soften. Allow your nervous system to practice this rhythm of receiving. Allow it to receive this moment, this breath, this sense of safety. Allow it to train itself to recognize abundance as natural, receiving, as safe opening as your birthright. And as you drift into sleep, feel into this question. What would it be like to wake up tomorrow with your nervous system naturally organized around the rhythm of receiving?